What's going on, everyone? It's Cole Gonzalez, also known as Corald on social media, have over 7 million followers and 4 billion plus short form views. But more importantly than me, today we have joined with us two very special individuals. Actually, the backstory is pretty crazy, which we're going to hop into. And we have Stella and Katie here with us today, and we're going to be talking about a platform that Katie has built to over 2,700 followers in 3 weeks using OSSA.AI. And just for anyone who's listening to the audio version of this, to put this in perspective, and we're really going to dive into this, she's 12 years old, and she's done this by herself, and it's absolutely crazy. The backstory is super interesting. So yeah, I mean, Stella, Katie, whoever wants to start first, maybe just a little background about you guys.
All right, sounds good. Back when I was like 9 or 10, I loved watching content creators, and I was like, oh my gosh, wow, this is awesome. I want to be this when I grow up. But the issue was I had zero clue on how to edit things to get people's attention, about algorithms, basically everything in general. I was a pretty stubborn kid though, so I was like, I tried to figure it out on my own. I started messing around with a bunch of editing software like CapCut, iMovie, a bunch of others. And I started creating short story content, like mini movie trailers almost. And it wasn't until like a month ago that my mom told me that I should start posting my videos online. So we created an Instagram account, but
the internet is not a safe place.
Yeah.
So I was like, hey, listen, Stella, like you mastered this. You want to put your video out to the world. They're really great. I want the world to be able to see what it is that you're doing. Mm-hmm. Let's create a persona that can be a little bit more indiscreet on the internet. Mm-hmm. So we created a character named Adrian Cruz.
He's a 24-year-old surfer dude, and he's all about surfing. He's all about surfing history, the culture, the safety tips. And now when I first started posting, all content was handmade, and it took me like a bunch of hours to do. But that all changed when my mom told me about OSSA.AI, and she told me that I should play around with it a bit. And I'm like, I am so glad that I listened to her about it. So the first video that I uploaded with OSSA, boom, over 1,000 views in under 24 hours, which is really a shocker for me because I've never had that much.
It was great just to have the platform where she could really bring her creations to life. She's always been a writer. She's always been a storyteller. So we had, this idea in our head, and we actually used AI to create his photo. Mm-hmm. And we used ChatGPT to kind of come up with his backstory of like who this person's going to be. So this is 100% completely an AI run channel. That was an experiment with AI that I was so grateful to find your software and so grateful that it was easy to use. Stella loves it. She plays with it all the time, and it's fantastic. It's working out really well.
That's incredible. And thank you so much for sharing the backstory. It's super interesting. And I think one thing, so originally how we met was I shot a DM because I think you guys emailed me first because I sent out an email. You guys got back to me, you shared a video, and I'm like, whoa, this account's doing really well. So then I went onto Instagram, and that's what we're talking about. We're talking about an Instagram page. And for anyone listening, basically Instagram faceless content, which is what you create with OSSA.AI, which is essentially images, transitions, things of that nature. And I saw this page and I was like, wait, that's doing really well. I need to reach out to that person. Reached out, come to find out that Katie ends up responding to me. And she's like, essentially, long story short, she's like, my daughter's actually running this. And I'm like, hold on, what do you mean? So we ended up hopping on an Instagram call with both of them, and I was over in Chicago at my girlfriend's place. And when I really heard your voice, because we were on a voice call, I was like, wow, this is really real. And the reason I really wanted to have you guys on, and I have lots more questions, was because I really think this is a first ever. And what's incredible, it's such an awesome accomplishment. And we talked about so many cool things when we were talking on that voice call. But I just think it's so cool how you're enabling your daughter to really dive into technology, and you're kind of pushing her towards garnering skills that are going to be really valuable. And the fact that you're at your age, you're already using these terms and this, it's mind blowing. Like you're probably using terms right now that people listening might not even know. And I'm a strong believer and just content in general. And I think people are always, attention's the new oil is what Alex Ramosi says. And if you can get attention, really, people talk about monetizing, right? And they talk about really just business making money. And the biggest problem with any business in the world, the biggest problem to solve is like, you can have the best product ever, but if you don't know how to get people to look at it, it doesn't matter. And the fact that like you're focusing on the highest leverage skill in the marketplace now, and in my opinion, always, that is like really cool to me. So massive hats off to you. I'm sure people are going to be listening to this and be inspired as well. Cause it's like, if you can do it, what is anyone else's excuse? That's how I look at it. Like literally, what is your excuse? And it's incredible. So I guess just to kind of, dive deeper into that, a question I have is, at what point, in your journey, Katie, did you, at what exact point was it like, okay, you probably started, consuming social media content just like me, you got inspired. What was like the pivoting point for you to like, okay, I definitely want to, start growing my own platform and make this like a skill that I really want to acquire? Like, what was that main turning point where you decided that I'm going to do this?
I mean, Stella has been asking me for her own YouTube channel since she was probably about 5. She's of the generation that grew up with like an iPad in their hands, right? So I know a lot of parents are really resistant to having their kid on social media, and there's some good reasons behind that. I don't want to tie it to her persona or make this about her. This is about her content and learning how to perfect the art of storytelling as a craft. And so that's what really this has become about is, okay, let's pick a topic. Let's go into something that you're interested in, and let's create this character and post as if you were this character. So it really just brings her storytelling creations to life. And Stella, you can talk about, I mean, she writes short stories. She's been writing books. Tell us about that, what you do.
I've been writing books since I was like as young as I can remember, really. I love creating the characters. I love creating their backstories. It's all super fun to me, and that's really what I like to do in my free time. So when I got the opportunity to expand more on creating Adrian Cruz, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is awesome.
No, that's incredible. And then I do have to ask, maybe you already shared this with me, but maybe I don't remember, but why surfing? Why not, something else?
Well, I really do enjoy surfing, and I was thinking maybe that I could branch out into different topics. But I really just wanted to spread the word about surfing, spread the history, spread some safety tips for those who didn't know.
We live in Florida.
Yeah.
I mean, we're beach babes.
There
we go.
Yeah.
That's part of our life and part of the culture that we're part of. We like taking those kind of trips and being in that environment. So it was just an easy topic to get started with. And that's kind of her plan, is to expand it. If there's success in this channel, what else can she do? Where else can she go from here? Mm-hmm. Into seeing that she can really kind of make it a formula, a repeated formula.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I definitely think you guys are on the front end of what's really coming. And my biggest thing has always been that people are always going to take the path of least resistance as humans, right? And this was kind of my hypothesis early on. I mean, we talked about this, but I think that as long as there's a tool that does a good job and can save people time, they're probably going to do that. And I think as we see AI develop, and I would love to hear more about your guys' opinions on this, on where you see content going. But I think we're going to see a lot more AI generated content. Eventually, we're going to see a lot more AI avatars. I'm really bullish on AI avatars and AI content. But yeah, I would love to hear kind of your guys' thoughts, because to be honest, we're like very early, and a lot of people aren't using AI at all, let alone for content. So what's your guys' opinions on, AI generated content in general? And yeah, that would be my main question.
Well, I mean, both me and my mom believe that AI is going to be a huge part of the future. I mean, there are already tons of applications like ChatGPT that have changed the lives of so many people for the better. Me and my mom think it's best to learn about AI and the power and potential it holds, so that we can better prepare for the future.
Everyone's all freaked out by it. The robots are coming. The robots are coming. That's not really my stance on it. I think that AI really amplifies what it is that you're able to do. And so just learning these tools and learning this skill set, this is going to be her future. I mean, at 12 now, most kids are going through middle school and going into high school and then trying to figure out what they're going to do for a job. if she's already has an interest in something and a love for learning it, this is a chance for her to really dive in and learn those skills that will be most applicable in the future, rather than just, a basic history lesson.
Yeah. Wow. No, that's incredible. And I think what's really cool, it's just brilliant to me, is that what I see in Stella is that I think that the creative people in this new era of AI are going to have the most leverage, because how I look at it is, until we get to a point where AI is like taking over, right? And we literally don't need humans. It's like you need those people to have discernment to say that AI did a good thing or a bad thing. Like that looks good or that looks bad. So it's like how I've always looked at content when it comes to AI, and like our theory on short form content on the platform is that if you understand how to make a good piece of content, the platform's really good. If you don't, then you're going to get no views. And we have, quite honestly, some users who complain, they're like, I'm getting no views. And I'm like, well, I can give you these resources, but it's like, if I solve the problem for you, if I give you just views, then it takes away the creativity. And that's like the biggest thing that's the needle I'm trying to thread that I think a lot of other companies don't really care about, which is like, if you are to help people just do everything, right? Add the music, generate the script, do everything for people, it's no longer theirs. And yes, you might be able to get them views, but is there any creativity involved? So I think that like line in between, and that's why I think this is just really cool, because Stella's like the perfect representation of someone who's creative and understands the platform really well and understands that it's going to help, but it's also on me to be creative and come up with these ideas and learn from my content and what's doing well. So I would just love to hear more about kind of your first experience, Stella, on the platform, and maybe the first video that you made and what was kind of that experience like.
Well, I was just playing around with it a bit, and then I was like, I liked playing around with the different voices, and then when I found a setting I liked, I just started generating videos, and then I found the one that I liked, and I posted it online, and it got a lot of views, like I said. And I'm like, wow, this is awesome. So I kept playing around with it, and
she's really kind of made a habit of her studying, like, what was it that it did well? What was it that, it didn't do well? So like, we generated the content that you did about the girl, and it was all male surfers that were coming through. And she was like, is AI sexist? Like, why are they showing women views in there? But, they're computers, and they're only responding to what it is that you tell them. So your comment on creativity, I mean, I feel like a lot of people have that experience with ChatGPT too. You go in there and you tell it something very basic, make me a TikTok video. Makes you a TikTok video, but it's not exactly what you want. And then you're like, oh, I tried it. It doesn't work. I don't like it. Well, the machine's only as good as what you're feeding it, right? And so that's where the creativity and the human touch comes in right now. It's that prompt engineering. It's that coming up with the creative scripting. It's coming up with what kind of images do you want? I mean, we had a field day even playing with the image generator to make Adrian's pictures. Some of them were hilarious.
Oh yeah, some of them were like two dudes stuck on top of each other. It was really weird.
She's like, that guy's abs look like bread.
No, that's so funny, and it's so true. And it's really cool because how you guys see this new technology is exactly how we see it. And that's what we're going to continue to build. And I got a ton of feedback from you guys, and I've kind of shared some things that we plan on implementing, like being able to adjust those individual images. We're currently working on a feature that's going to allow you to select different transitions, animations, so give just a lot more customizability, really make it unique to that specific brand. And then we have some really, really big things coming a little bit later. But I think it's just really cool how, you guys see that. You see that same side of AI that really OSSA.AI sees and the team sees, because there's a lot of these other platforms that are really big, but they're not really solving the problem for the creative, like Stella, right? Like the creatives get it. This is really cool, and I'll share this with you. The same way that Stella, that you're looking at OSSA.AI is the same way that huge creators that I talk with see, and they only see that. Some people who haven't really done content don't really see it the same way of like, oh, I get it. Like, I get it. I get why you don't add music. Like, I get why you're not AI generating everything. So like that same, which is really interesting. Some people don't a lot of people don't really see that just yet. It takes, and some people never do. And then they leave the platform. They're like, this platform doesn't really work, but it's like, we made it that way on purpose because there's a specific type of person that gets it and will continue to get it and really leverage it. So just want to share that. Thought that was kind of cool.
Oh, that's awesome. I mean, she's been having so much fun playing for it. And I think the user face is just super easy to use.
Yep. So easy a 12-year-old could do it.
That should be the title of this podcast. That's funny.
There you go.
Yeah.
So I guess one question I would have is, have you told anyone in your family, any of your friends kind of about this experience, and what are kind of their reactions?
I actually had a parent come up to me. I was like, we need to talk about your daughter. She's posing to be someone over 21 on Instagram. And I appreciated it because it's coming up from like a concerned parent point of view. I'm like, this is a sanctioned project and I'm very actively involved. It's not her Instagram, it's mine. And she's just creating the content and doing this. Again, I wanted that shield for her to be safe because no one's going to come bother a 24-year-old dude like they would bother a 12-year-old girl.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely.
And it was just kind of that mask for her to be able to put her content out there and share her creations with the world. So, but yeah, we've told some friends and our grandparents and people that are super excited. They love seeing the content and like what she's coming up with is great. I think the coolest one, you made that video this week. Someone reached out and actually asked her like a surf history fact to Adrian. And that was, you responded with a video.
I responded with the video. Yeah.
So she's getting content creation suggestions from fans and we love that. So if you have surf facts or history that you want to know, we answered that person's question and then tagged them in the post and got like a thank you shout out from them too. So that's cool because that just helps her come up with that next video idea.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Connect with others.
Yeah, no, that's incredible. And also, I don't know if we mentioned, but for anyone listening, it's on Instagram. It's risingtide_society. Rising Tide is one word. So for anyone who wants to actually go look at that, I'm sure it'll be around for a good while. You guys don't strike me as people that are going to abandon the account. So I'm sure it'll be there for a good amount of time and you guys will be crushing it. I guess another question I would have is, where do you guys see this account? And maybe, I mean, a better question would probably be, Stella, where do you kind of see yourself as it pertains to content creation over the next, couple of years?
Well, I mean, I definitely want to stay in the content creation industry. I do want to grow an account to the point where I can start getting paid off of it and to the point where I can start being an affiliate for some companies. But I also want to grow it to the point where I can start sharing facts with others and make the knowledge actually helpful.
Mm-hmm.
So she's in it for the right reasons. I think our goal is to really just start with this one and see where it goes. Surfing is always going to be something that's part of our life, and rising tide raises all ships. So we're going to figure out ways to make partnerships in the surf community and kind of elevate that. And then we kind of created our own challenge with it. And she has a list of different topics that she could go into that she's interested in. And I'm like, okay, if you can prove it in one, go try to do it again and again and again in completely unrelated topics. And that's just really making her a master of the craft. Like right now, more importantly than monetization is, how do you learn to get that attention online? How do you learn to keep it? How are you analyzing your posts? What are you doing differently that's working? And, it captivates her. After our first conversation with you and I put her back in school for the rest of the day, she came home and I'll keep this. So when she's an adult, we can go back. It was her first analytics report in purple marker on a ripped out page from one of her school notebooks. And she had analyzed her top 5 performing posts. But that's engagement with what she's learning, right? So she had free time in her computer class, and rather than playing the online games and just consuming content, she was looking at what she'd actually created and analyzed it. So that's the kind of learning and education that I'm hoping that she really grabs onto right now. And when she starts seeing money come in from it, I'm sure it'll accelerate her to learn even more.
Yeah, it'll get really real then. But that's, I think you guys are looking at it absolutely the right way. When I first started creating content, it was just like you, out of passion, and it was on Instagram. And when I originally started posting, it was like fitness content, and this was in high school, my senior year. And a lot of my friends like unfollowed me, and I lost followers to start. This was before I quote blew up. And then I moved to TikTok, and I was just posting. I was personally kind of overkill. Maybe I was doing 6 times a day. So I just got really good at it through repetition, because I'm a big believer in like, if you just keep doing something and you don't accept failure as an option, like you don't have any other way than winning, right? It's a math game. If you just keep doing reps and keep doing it, like you're forcing yourself to get good. It helped that I enjoyed it though, right? It was never like a job. And then I ended up getting to, I don't know, like 400,000 followers on TikTok. And during that time I was doing sales, like door-to-door sales. So it was just kind of like a really fun hobby for me. And then a brand hit me up. They're like, we want to pay you for this thing. And I'm like, wait, you can get paid for this? So yeah, it just so happened. And I'm really grateful for that, because a lot of people start on social media with the goal of trying to make money. But it's like you said, a prerequisite to monetization is getting attention. So if you just know how to get attention, then you can learn the skills of monetization. But a lot of people focus on monetization, but they don't focus on attention, right? So if that's the goal right now, you guys are 100% on the right path. And, you know, if you were to zoom out 2, 3, 4, 5 years, it's going to be crazy. We're definitely gonna have to do like a 5-year check-in. Yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, I mean, in terms of my end, I really don't have any more questions. Really, my last question would be for anyone out there who maybe is looking at OSSA.AI and is a little bit confused, or maybe they think it's not right for them, or whatever it may be. What would you say to them?
Well,
I'd say you haven't really given it a fair shot. It's so easy a 12-year-old can master it. And you have to really think about, like I said earlier, AI, you get what you put into it, right? So take ownership of what you're feeding the machine, and that's going to control the output that you're seeking. And sometimes it's just about the content. It's not about the monetization. So focus there and focus on really crafting your craft and building up your skill set. And once you have that down, then perhaps you'll start seeing the results that you want to see. What would you add?
I mean, it's good to never give up and to know that once you start posting content, there are going to be people who are going to be hating on it, but it's good to let them have their own opinion and to not let those types of comments get to you.
Wow.
I love that. I love my daughter's thick skin. That's definitely something that I did not have at her age. And she's just like, they're just boosting my algorithm. They can comment all they want. It's just getting me more attention on my page. And I love that attitude about it. And it's true. And that's all of life. You're not meant for everybody. You're meant for your tribe and your people, and just keep doing you and shining.
It's absolutely brilliant. Well, this has definitely been one of the coolest podcasts I've been on. I've done a lot on my own too. This is really cool. So I'm super grateful for you guys' time and using the platform and your commitment to yourself. Because at the end of the day, like I said, I love AI, but I also think the human aspect is the most important. And that's why we've done things the way we have. So obviously it's a two-way street. We have to build the platform, but you guys, you have to improve yourself. So I think that's really cool and says a lot about you, Stella. So this has been really awesome. I really appreciate you guys coming on. And I'm sure we'll do a follow-up podcast really soon here.
No, we'd love that. Well, thank you so much for the opportunity. And thank you for creating the software that's been so fun for us to figure out using. And
yeah,
I mean, we both have really enjoyed interacting with you. Our only regret is that we didn't get your face on camera when we told you weren't talking to Adrian Cruz. But it was, hey, I'm a mom, and this is my 12-year-old daughter.
Oh, that would have been priceless for sure.
Yeah, well, we'll recreate that one day, maybe with AI.
Yeah, maybe with AI. All right, guys.
Well, thank you. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much.